I want to welcome everybody tonight joining us for our first ever Get on the Bus virtual event. We are so grateful to each of you for being here tonight to look back over 2 decades of service to families across California and children with incarcerated parents. We have joining us tonight volunteers and bus coordinators, families, founding members of Get on the Bus, and we're just so grateful to have you all here tonight. My name is Dave. I'm the development coordinator at Get on the Bus and Center for Restorative Justice Works. And I'm just going to tell you a few things, and then we'll kick things off. So to start, I'm going to invite everybody here. If you have any questions or comments you'd like to leave, please put them into the Q&A section. You can find that by running your mouse or your finger over the video, and you'll see at the bottom of your screen a panel pop up. And if you click into Q&A, that is a great place to drop your questions. Towards the end of our event, after we listen to our wonderful speakers present tonight, then we'll have a chance for a live Q&A session. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and get things started. There's a few people who are probably still on their way, so we thought that we would kick things off tonight with a video showing you the work that we do and what a typical Mother's Day might look like in a non-pandemic year for Get on the Bus, when we reunite children with their incarcerated mothers. And I want to remind everybody that we're fundraising tonight. We're in the midst of a campaign. So as we go on, I'll be dropping a link into the chat, and I invite you all to participate. And we are so grateful again to have you here tonight. So let's go ahead and get the video started.
My goodness. Um, that was actually one of our Mother's Day events for CCWF. And it's just a reminder how quickly we need to get these events back and running. So welcome everyone. My name is Liz Rios. I'm the Interim Executive Director for Center for Restorative Justice Works. And I actually have the great pleasure of being your host for our first ever Mother's Day virtual event. We're very happy, excited, and grateful to have you all join us tonight. We are the very proud folks that wear the purple shirts every spring. And what we do is we reunite children with their incarcerated parents by providing transportation and other support services for our in-person visits. We do this every spring in honor of Mother's Day and Father's Day. Unfortunately, once again, our children and their families will be unable to visit their incarcerated parents this Get on the Bus season. For our children, that's 2 years since they last saw their loved ones. Let's think about that for a second. This past year, we all experienced the excruciating heartache of not being able to embrace our parents, our grandparents, our children, our grandchildren, our friends, our loved ones. That yearning feeling that we all encountered is what our young children deal with all the time, pandemic or not. Again, that's 2 years of the anguish that we have all come to know so well. Although in-person visits are still not available for our children, tonight we are raising funds to prepare for our first post-pandemic event to continue to support children of incarcerated parents and their families across California. Our goal tonight is to raise $25,000, and thanks to many of you, our wonderful event sponsors, we have already raised $11,000 of our goal. We hope you can support our Mother's Day campaign and help us reach our goal. We have 14,000 to go. With that said, we want to thank our committed Get on the Bus volunteers, interns, our great partners, our wonderful donors, and we also want to offer special thanks to our founding sisters of St. Joseph of Carondelet, Bishop Soto and the Sacramento Diocese, and the Jesuit West Province for their sponsorship for today's event. And last but certainly not least, Regina Black and Sam Tavares from Cal State Long Beach University for coordinating this virtual event. Thank you, ladies, for being part of Get on the Bus history. This is made possible because of all of you. And as we move on to our event, a few housekeeping items to address that David so graciously told us about earlier. For our Q&A session, we encourage you to post your questions for our speakers using the Q&A feature that you see toward the bottom and the center of your screen. We'll do our best to address all of your questions. All we ask is that you remain respectful in addressing your comments and your questions, and we thank you in advance for your cooperation. And now I'll introduce Regina Black as she shares with us a slideshow she put together of our in-person Mother's Day events. Regina.
Thank you, Liz. It's such an honor to be here with you all tonight. As someone who also had a father growing up that was incarcerated for most of my childhood, I am just so enamored with so much love and respect for CRJW and Get on the Bus and what you guys offer for these families all throughout California. And I just wanted to use my photography skills to curate the archival footage that you already have from previous events to solidify and to remind us all of the beautiful work you guys do and to prepare us and to look forward to the upcoming events soon to come. My apologies. I got so excited I shared the wrong one. 1 second. Sorry, technical difficulties.
Thank you, Regina, for putting that very special montage together and reminding us how necessary our in-person events are to the children and their parents. And now I delightfully bring to you a person who I am extremely grateful to and really needs no introduction, our founder, Sister Suzanne Jabro.
Thank you very much, Liz. It's great to be here with everyone. So thank you very much for everyone for putting this together. It's my honor today to talk to you about the founding story. So it's been quite a day just in preparing for this to present to you today. The founding year for Get on the Bus was 1999. A small group of women were very concerned about the 500% increase in the number of women who were going to prison at that time. So we decided to host a delegation in the Chowchilla prisons, which are 4.5, 4.5 hours actually from Los Angeles. And we invited the leaders of all the women's communities to join us. Those are the nuns. So they came from all over: San Francisco, San Bernardino, Sacramento, Los Angeles, San Diego, Oakland, San Fran, everyone. And they all unanimously wanted to be there. So we made the trek and we met at the prison, and the women were gathered in a group. It was very quiet and no one spoke. And there were about 60 at the first prison and 60 at the second prison. And we told them why we had come, that we were concerned about them. And we asked them to tell us what it was that they needed. What could we do for them? They were so far from these major city centers where these women had come from. And the first woman began, and she started to cry. And she said, we never see our children. We never see them. I can't live without touching my child. And she just broke down. And the next woman picked it up and she said, I can't even call home. My family can't afford the call. I can't put one more burden on my mother. She's got all my kids. And she started to cry. The next said, I haven't seen my children in several years. I haven't touched them. And I can't live like this. And before too long, all 60 of them who could talk did. The rest were in tears. And we began to ask questions about what were some of the reasons. Could they be more specific? And their mothers couldn't drive that far with a car full of kids. They didn't have a car that was good enough. They couldn't afford meals in the visiting room, you know, things like that. And we did that in the morning. We went next door to the next prison. It was the same exact thing. That's all they needed. And they were begging us, please help us. Please help us. You've got to help us. And it was difficult to hear it and to be there where people are begging you to assist. So we all but went back home, and I'm not sure what we were going to do. And small meetings started, and Sister Suzanne Stephan at the time, she worked with the Valley State Prison for Women's Community Resource Manager. And they plotted a plan for us to bring 9 families, that was 17 children, from Los Angeles on one bus. And they would provide a special day. So the reason these 9 families were chosen is because the mothers had not seen their children between 4 and 11 years. And we used all our relationships and our networks and everything to find people in the areas where these families were, to go to the home and help them fill out the paperwork and get them to the downtown Los Angeles bus, which they all did, and all 9 families went. And I have to tell you, I learned a lot about the women who are mothers that are in prison. And I learned it from their tears, which were haunting, and begging for us. And I realized then something that was a bit of the magic behind this. people can look at a situation and decide what you're going to do to solve the problem, which is always really nice. But I don't think that we would have known the level of their sorrow if we had not gone and sat with them and asked them to share with us what they needed, because we weren't even thinking about the children. And then remember, we learned really a lot the day we rode the first bus because we were on the bus with our precious cargo, the children. And I have to tell you, when they got to LA, they did not believe they were going to see their parents. I don't know. They thought they were going to, one of them told me, I thought we were talking on the phone, and then the bus drove up. And they go, are we going? He says, yes, you're going. And so that was a big shock for them. And then when they got on the bus, the second big shock, they saw other kids. And you know, a lot of kids think they're the only person that has a parent in prison. And they make up stories about where their parents really are. So I learned a lot from those children that year. And the mantra that came out that day and came out every year after that is at the end of the visit, when the kids came out and said, this was the best day of my life. And we heard that over and over, even through the tears of farewell. You might wonder why Get on the Bus isn't an agency with the name the Center for Restorative Justice Works. And it's because children with a parent in prison are the hidden victims of crime and punishment through absolutely no fault of their own. And I also learned over the years that this mission of Get on the Bus, it was easy for people to understand, uniting children with their parent in prison. And the mantra from the public was, oh my gosh, I've never thought about the children. But I do recall one little boy at an elementary school, and we gave a talk about Get on the Bus, and they were doing a little fundraiser, and he looked like he was about the 6th grade, and he raised his hand, and he stood up with the greatest authority, and he said, get on the bus. This is the best program I've ever heard about, because quite frankly, I could not live without my mother. So I want to say we have to help these children, whatever we can do. And I thought, gosh, it takes a child to understand the pain of another child, what that would be like, the level of that. He got it. I hope he's in politics today. That would be very helpful. Anyway, I learned from all of you that the Get on the Bus mission is easy really to understand, that we are uniting children with their mothers and fathers in prison. And people who value children and families really have stepped up to share their time, their talent, and their treasure. There have been other families who stand together, and their families helping these families, and churches and schools and individuals and organizations. And I want to say, on behalf of all of us over all these years, a big heartfelt thank you. And I can't let this evening go by without giving special thanks to 3 women who were really partners to all of us over the years from the Department of Corrections. I want to thank you, Dawn Davidson, former warden at the California Institution for Women, for all that you did to always try to think outside the box and help children with parents in prison. And we completely appreciate you, and always will. And you, Wendy, still running the female offenders programs and services at the Department of Corrections at headquarters. You were the one that called me up one day and offered us money for buses to take children to see their parent every other week to the women's prisons, the Family Express, which is being supported by the Department of Corrections to this day. We are so grateful that you saw the vision. And then we can't leave our #1 ombudsman for all time, Sarah Malone, who went to practically every event that we had and sent her staff to help us negotiate getting families into the prison, because there were always someone lost their paperwork or something happened, and you were always there for us. And we really appreciate you, Sarah. We had wonderful staff over the years. You have been marvelous. So many sponsoring faith communities and bus sponsors. I could tell a million stories. You'd be lucky that I'm not going to do that tonight, but I can say one thing. No matter what, from the beginning, whether we were in the office or we had an event or we were planning, we knew that we were together. We were single-minded in getting these children and these parents united. And I know the pandemic, well, what can we say? Turned the world upside down and everything in it, and the programs in the office and all of it. But it is also offering a tremendous opportunity for us to reimagine, to revision, to refocus our efforts, to re-engage in partners and new partners, and to spread the word and to reach out. And we're counting on all of you to help us to do that, because we have every intention of moving forward. And we always start in late August for a Mother's and Father's Day event in May and June of the following year, because it took that long. We have to market in the prisons. We have to get signups. All the prisoners paperwork has to be reviewed. Then we have to find bus sponsors and train them to visit these families to be sure that they have everything they need for the visit. It takes a very long time. And with the donations tonight, that will help kick us into a big start for this year. I want to say that, tell you one little story that happened on the first bus. And it was when we were coming home, and people were pretty tired and all. And one of the grandmothers who was accompanying her grandchild to see her daughter, she said to me, could she talk to me? I said, yes. And she wanted to tell me that, she knew this program was for the children seeing their mothers, but she wanted me to know that this was her daughter, and that over the years, the entire time she'd been incarcerated, they had not spoken. And she said, although it was for the child, I have to tell you, this was the best conversation I've had with my daughter in many years. And the healing that happened here for us is beyond my wildest dreams. And I know that happened in a lot of families. So many things are going on in Get on the Bus, a lot of healing, and you've all been a part of it. And I want to say thank you. But most of all, I want to take this time. It's my privilege to introduce to you Karen Beavers. She's one of our heroic grandmothers, and she has agreed to be here this evening and to share with us. And so Karen, I want to welcome you on behalf of all of us, and thank you for being here with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne. Okay, my name is Karen. I'm a grandmother of 2 beautiful granddaughters who was unfortunate to have both of their parents incarcerated. And I was lucky enough to take full custody of these 2. And it's just been an honor. And I always get emotional. I'm sorry, but I always get emotional. I'm sorry. I'm gonna try to do this without bringing tears to my eyes. I was lucky enough to be informed about Get on the Bus. This organization has helped keep kids physically connected, with their parent. They're great. They bend the limits to bring happiness and joy. I mean, for all families, not just mine, but for all families, and I'm pretty sure that if it wasn't for Get on the Bus, that at least my grandkids wouldn't see their parents, wouldn't have seen their parents as much as they did, although it's only one trip, throughout the year, but this year, that one trip means so much. I mean, because it's so much more than what I could have done myself. Because of the distance, the cost, um, I'm just so overjoyed and grateful for this program this organization, because, like I said, it's just been an honor to be a part of it. I mean, that I've met people just going on the bus trips, and not only do they do bus trips, they have picnics in the summer where they take the kids out, and they have a full day of swimming and games, and it's just, I mean, it's, you name it, they're keeping these kids happy even when they're not visiting. They stand connected. I mean, I've been connected with other people, that kind of adopted us in a sense, and just from this one organization, it's, I mean, we get Christmas gifts, the kids get gifts every year. Like, they don't leave out, they connect you to one organization or another that could just, I mean, it just continuously grow. And, they have packets that they sent us so they sent stamps and envelopes and paper. I mean, they don't miss a beat, they keeping these kids connected with their parents. And it's just been great. Like, it's just been great. I'm a former correctional officer, so to see how much a visit means to someone, I never knew how much it meant to someone, because, I was on that side, but being on the other side of the fence, it's just a whole nother outlook, because I'm in a household with the silent or hidden victims, my two grandkids, and to be in the household with them and have to, see the hurt because the phone is saying 60 seconds left, and they're like, oh, I didn't get to say this, I didn't get to say that, and they might have to wait another week before they talk. To be in the household with the kids and wanting to see their parents and things like that, it's heartbreaking. And this trip, they look forward to this Father's Day, Mother's Day trip every year. This is the third year, but we missed last year because of the pandemic. And unfortunately, my granddaughter's father, he had COVID, and we were so scared because we didn't talk to him for weeks, because we didn't know what was happening, But it's just so much, and just to have some organization like this that could, pack you up and feed you lunch on the bus and make sure that the kids have everything they need, and get them to see their parents. Just that one visit, that one visit changed. They talk about it for weeks after. And then when they call them on the phone after the visit, they're talking to them about the visit, so, and all the things that they've done since the visit, and all the things that Get on the Bus have done for them since the visit. So this has just truly been like just something special for me, because, like I said, there is no way they probably wouldn't see their parents until their release date, because there's no way I could, the transportation, the cost, because, when you go visit, you have to stand in these lines, and if you're not wearing the proper attire, they're gonna make you leave or go change, or it's just a lot to it. It's not as simple as just going to the prison and saying, I'm here to visit this person and going in. So it's a process. You have to do the paperwork. They do the paperwork for you. They make sure all your paperwork is done, because I absolutely don't have the time for it. And for this program to be willing to fill out my paperwork and make sure it's mailed and make sure it's in on time, and we're, they make sure you stay on it, it's just been a great thing, and I'm over grateful. for everybody that get on the bus and anybody who's attached to get on the bus. It's just been, it's been great. And the kids are grateful, you know, and we're looking forward to another bus trip. You know, we're looking forward to that. And I'm overwhelmed at the donations because this program, this organization has to stay because a lot of parents, a lot of mothers and fathers are not seeing their kids. I mean, you know, granted, they committed a crime and they're locked in prison or whatever the case may be, but everybody has a right to hug their child or, you know, tell their child physically in a physical that they love them or give them a kiss on the cheek, you know, spin them around in a circle. Those little things mean so much. Take a picture. My grandkids have all the pictures, to have them on their wall. You know, don't want anybody to touch them. You can't touch the pictures either. You can't touch the pictures. And it's just been so great. I mean, I stay in contact, you know, even through the pandemic year, they stay in contact. They make sure you know what's going on. They inform you about everything. Well, it might not happen this time, but maybe we're checking for this date, or we're checking for this date, you know, and so on and so on. And although all this stuff is going on in the world, they're still looking at us and they're still reaching out to us to try to, you know, to make sure we're okay and to inform us about future visits. You know, it's just overwhelming. And I'm surprised I'm sitting here and talking and not a tear's come out my eye because I can't even talk about get on the bus to a neighbor or a friend without being emotional because I'm just so grateful because it's just so hard. You know, I took custody of 2 kids. My kids are grown, you know, and I took custody of 2 kids. So I'm starting all over again. So it's real stressful and it's a lot, you know, I have to start over. And like I said, I wouldn't have ever put the kids in a car to go visit their parents because I just couldn't. You know, I didn't have the time, the funding, you know, things like that. And for these people to step out and and do this kind of, this is a blessing. You know, it's truly a blessing, and I'm grateful. And I thank everybody who's attached to it, and just this much, whoever is attached, donations, whoever has a foot in with Get on the Bus. I'm grateful for all of you guys. We appreciate you guys 1000%. And I can't say anymore. I'm so grateful, and we really appreciate you guys. And this is probably one of the better organizations that I've come across, even working in the prison system. You know, so I was on the other side. You know, so it's much brighter side over here. You know, and it's so much more rewarding. And I mean, I just thank you guys for listening to me, and I'm here if you want to ask me questions. And I think I'm going to give it to Liz, I believe, is going to speak next. I'm not sure who the next speaker is. I'm sorry. I should have been prepared for that. But thanks for listening to me speak, and goodbye, guys. I'm sorry. I'm not a good public speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you for sharing your beautiful story. And thank you for just, I'm overwhelmed with your words. This is why we're here. It's families like yours. We want to make sure that the children have contact with their parents, and that parents have, as you mentioned, the right to embrace their children. Get on the Bus is special because we offer something very special. It's touch. It's being able to embrace your loved one. As being a child of an incarcerated parent myself, I understand that feeling. And I liken that to what we felt through the pandemic, because that's exactly what it feels like all the time. And we all share those, you know, as children, we don't understand why we feel that way. We just know that we want to see our loved ones, we want to see our parents, and that's why we're here. So I stand by our mission. And Karen, I thank you for sharing your story with us. I do want to say thank you to everyone. Also keep in mind, there are also ways to contribute to the organization and support our families. Once we have our in-person events, please visit our website if you are interested in volunteering. Quite frankly, as you all know, we have about 10 staff members for Get on the Bus alone. And the fact that we're able to support over 1,600 people every year with Get on the Bus, just do the math on that. It's impossible. It's because of our wonderful volunteers that support us every year that we are able to do that. So please, everyone who is interested in volunteering, we need your support. And we thank you. You are the reason why we're here. So we just wanted to mention that. So I do want to share, Regina did put a nice montage together of some pictures that we have, and we want to close out the evening with that. Again, I want to thank everybody, our supporters, our donors, our sponsors, our regional coordinators who do so much work for Get on the Bus. They just make things happen. So we have 8 different regional coordinators all over the state of California. So thank you for your support, for everything that you all do. And of course, our bus coordinators. So thank you all for being part of our first virtual event and allowing me to be your host today. So thank you all. Have a good night. And for all of our mothers, happy Mother's Day. Wishing you a restful and blessed Mother's Day. And again, we still have a few minutes. If you want to go ahead and make your donations, please feel free. David, if you can just go ahead and drop that link on the chat so folks can see that. And hopefully we can close out with meeting our goal. And Regina, go ahead and share your montage slideshow there.
Thank you, Suzanne.
Oh my gosh. Karen, you're great. Dave, that was really good. Where's Liz?
I just want to
feel
say to
happy.
everybody out there, I want to thank you all so much for joining us tonight and for your contributions and for taking the time to be here with us on this evening to celebrate Get on the Bus, our Mother's Day event. Thank you all. Thank you to the panelists. And for anybody that missed part of the event, we're going to post the links. We'll put it into YouTube and it'll be sent out. So please come back and visit us again. And we hope you'll join us for our next virtual event, which won't be our first one.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, it won't be a first Mother's Day event, so it'll be a first of something, David. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
So more firsts to come. But we're past the top of the hour, so I'm going to go ahead and close out tonight's webinar. And last but not least, I just want to let everybody know how grateful we are to each of you for your support.
Yes.
There's so many ways to be a part of our work here, whether it's through volunteering, getting on a bus with our children, opening your wallets, or just paying attention and learning about what we're doing and spreading the word about this important work to reunite families. So thank you for joining us in our mission to build stronger families and stronger communities. Happy Mother's Day to all.
Thank you all. Thank you all for attending. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.